Mo, if you could please share it in Discord, that would be awesome. But yeah, I think we're good to go. I think we're live. We probably will have some viewers in a second. And yeah, either way, it's the 9th of May. We're back again with an episode of the Weekly Vol. Glad to see some people trickling in already. Hope you guys are doing well. This one's going to be a special episode because we're joined by Sehaj from Avantis. We've had Avantis on the show before, and they offer a really interesting derivative market as well. Great to have you here, sir. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, great to be here, GM. Thanks
GM,
for having
GM.
me.
And as always, joined by my co-host Mo. Hope you're doing well as well.
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for asking.
So I think one of the reasons why you're probably doing great is because of the market, and I'm sure Timmy is doing well as well. How are you doing, sir? The market's been crazy, and I think we should probably just kind of go straight into it, talking about where we are with everything. Green everywhere, all over the place. Mo, like, how have you kind of felt about the last week, or the last couple of days, actually? Is it crazy, or is like it feels a bit like a dream that Bitcoin is, we were at like 70, low 70s just a couple of weeks ago, and Bitcoin's put in like a 20, 30%, 40% move almost from the bottom to where we are now at 103K, which just seems pretty crazy, no? Let's see. Mo, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, man. Like this entire move was actually quite crazy. I didn't expect Bitcoin to rally this hard this early. I expected like some sort of small corrections along the way, but like this this run has been like very strong. Like it kind of like decoupled. No, it didn't kind of decouple. It actually decoupled from equities, and that's probably because of like all the buying Sailor has been doing, as well as probably other whales joining Sailor, because I think multiple people have started like bidding, like multiple institutions started buying like billions of dollars in Bitcoin. So yeah.
The institutions are bidding. Sehaj, what are your thoughts on the market and where we are right now?
Yeah, we're back before the whole tariff problems, right? It's so funny. Such a short memory people have, and very headlines driven. Personally, I think when I entered the call, I think Waj, you were saying that you don't feel comfortable buying tops, at least local tops. I'm the same way. This feels like people have just let loose, based on like a headline of the UK tariffs, and all those things, but it seems to me very short-lived and very hype and momentum driven. And a lot of it is also Bitcoin has been the king, but it's time for alts and Ethereum. The move on Ethereum was crazy yesterday, right? 25%, um, completely unprecedented. And so I think it's one of those things where people are just letting loose on headlines, but until US fundamentally fixes things with China, we cannot possibly think that the world is back to normal. Um, so much is happening. I think you're also aware, Watch, like the India-Pakistan war right now. The
Absolutely.
escalations there. I have family back home. I don't know if you do have family in Pakistan. I hope they're safe. Um, but we can't possibly believe that this is the start of a bull run if we haven't fundamentally solved for geopolitical stability as well as just tariffs, right? That's my view.
So what do you think has been the cause of like this kind of last week of insane price action? Not only on Bitcoin, but ETH yesterday putting in like a 20% move. Where do you think the source of all of this has come from then?
Yeah, a couple of questions in there, I guess. But to me, first of all, I genuinely feel like insider trading is really ramping up under this administration, where the market somewhat knew, right, that the UK trade deal is coming in. Trump has been signaling to the market that either will keep interest rates flat or lower them, and pressuring Powell very publicly so, in doing so. When the president of your country is saying go out there and buy stocks, people will just go out there and buy stocks, frankly, right? And on the Ethereum thing, it's just the ETH BTC ratio being messed up for a long, long time. People looking for alpha in an already hyped up market. And with Petra coming in, it just lit the fuel on the fire.
But it's really, really interesting because we could take a look at ETH as well. But the Pectra upgrade was something that was known for such a long time. Is the market still this inefficient? Well, we have news well in advance.
Yeah.
I did a
Yeah.
tweet like maybe 10 days ago talking about the Pectra upgrade, and ETH was still like in this kind of range here. And I was thinking, man, this is surely priced in. Like everyone knows exactly what upgrade, what day, everything is going to come out. Yet we still saw this huge, huge green candle, which surprised me, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I can't really explain it properly.
Look, nobody can, right? It's the question of like, does price follow narrative or does narrative follow price? And you never know in crypto. Like Ethereum is dead, long live Ethereum. It's one of those things where now it's back and people are excited just because it printed a candle. So neither can I. But the best explanation I have is, yeah, everything is rallying and there's pockets of underperformance on a major, major L1. And with kind of RWAs, institutional DeFi, and Pectra all coming into the spotlight, it just gave people a reason.
Okay, fair enough. And so, yeah, like I said, I think just before we started the show, I really, really don't like buying, tops like this. And I don't know if this is a top. Maybe it's not. Maybe this is the beginning of something where we continue to kind of move upwards. Uh, it's hard for me, and again, no financial advice. We're just three guys here talking about our personal opinions here. But I really struggle to see like what the bull case is for these assets, especially alts. Sure, Bitcoin I think has decoupled a little bit, but yeah, I really struggle to see like what is the case for these assets to continue moving up, and why we aren't going to just keep chopping around when we still have those things that you mentioned: geopolitical instability, uncertainty, or definitely not the end of where we are with the Trump tariffs, and just overall with the grand scheme of where the overall market is. I'm just not convinced, and yeah, I'm pretty surprised with the market, in a pleasant way, of course, because it's good for my bags. But yeah, I'd love to know, like, Mo as well, like, where do you think like we're gonna go in the next couple of weeks then?
Well, it's a bit tricky to like give a uh, directional bet on where the market will precisely go. But uh, with the current BTC strength, I wouldn't be surprised if we go to an all-time high, like just a small sweep of like 110K before going lower, because like I do believe equities will go much lower, especially with like all the macro that's happening, the tariffs, and like as you guys mentioned, tariffs with China. I believe Trump mentioned today that uh, even lowering the tariffs to like 80% is a good idea, but like 80% tariffs is like is an embargo basically. It's like
Yeah.
imagine having to like buy something that's worth $1,000 for $1,800. Like it doesn't make any sense. And even if it's 50%, it's still high. Like so, I do believe like a recession is likely to come, or maybe not a recession, but like tough macro times are coming, and for sure, like we can speak about crypto decoupling from equities, but eventually, how much decoupling can crypto actually do? Like eventually, it will have to take a small toll at least. So yeah,
So
that's
how are
basically.
you positioned, Mo? Like, let's
I'm
say.
currently I okay. I'm not gonna lie. I was sidelined this whole time. Like the last 3 weeks, I got tracked. I got shopped around, but yeah, for the last 2 days, I've been trading some like insanely high leverage perps, and yeah, it's been paying off a bit well. But I don't think it's because like of favorable like it's because like I'm that good of a trader. I'm just saying that the conditions were perfect to like trade altcoins the last 2 days.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. And Sahaj, again, same question to you. You know, how have you been, especially with the market being so green over the last few days? How have you been positioned? Have you been trading actively? Have you been able to catch any of the move yourself as well?
Yeah, it's funny you asked, man. I'd say time and again the market humbles me into realizing that I should just hold spot and chill and stop overthinking all the time. But at time and again I fail to do that. Like if I just held my portfolio at the beginning of the year and I looked at it now, I'd be at all-time highs, basically. But did I do that? Of course not. Of course not, right? Did anyone do that? Probably there's better men than me in CT.
Yeah,
But I sold part of it at the bottom because I was freaked out in April
yeah,
after the tariffs kicked in, and then
yeah.
I've just been holding spot since then. I've not increased my leverage or my positioning,
Hmm.
except for buying like some altcoins that I believe are fundamentally solid, or buying high BTC as a barbell. But I've not fundamentally really deployed capital. Um, I'm maybe 50% in, 50% out. In reality, I should have just been holding fundamental things I believe in, Bitcoin hype, some base native projects, and just focusing on building, man. That's what I do. So reality is I could have played this better, but given how things have gone, my philosophy is the same. Just invest in stuff that you believe in long term, and the markets will do what they do. But yeah.
Is there anything outside of Bitcoin right now that you believe in long term?
So I think I, as a builder, am levered on base, levered
Hmm.
long on base, the
Yeah.
ecosystem. So I think I have been pretty vocal about working with and holding Aerodrome in terms of just betting on the growth of base as a whole. I'm pretty bullish on Hyperliquid as well. Really great ecosystem, especially with the EVM coming together. Um, but again, nothing crazy there. Just holding spot for a long time, holding the airdrop bags, the small airdrop bags, I should say. And then outside of that, there's pockets of outperformance in some AI, like virtuals ecosystem. Um, and again, getting a bit closer to that eco and even building in it. So that's on the, I guess, crypto side of things.
What do
Equities
you
wise,
think?
you pulled up Coinbase and it's actually,
Yeah,
yeah.
so yeah, maybe we can talk about this. What do you think about a Coinbase? You know, and this has been like a really interesting something that I've been thinking about a lot. Are the two giants that have like investable instruments, Coinbase versus Robinhood. Um,
Yeah.
you know, and kind of picking between them. Maybe you kind of just pick both, and maybe both will win. But yesterday we saw Coinbase acquiring Deribit, the largest option market in crypto today. They did a $2.9 billion deal, which is absolutely insane to see. And it looks like Robinhood are also going all in on crypto as well with some of the things that they're cooking as well. Is this something that you have in your portfolio as well? Is these kind of equity plays that are kind of linked to crypto?
Yeah, exactly. I sold out of Coinbase and Hood during tariffs because again, I was worried that like uh trading volumes will go down. I could not have been more wrong about that. Exchanges have been the biggest winners of the last 3 months, whether that's Robinhood, Coinbase, or Hyperliquid. So anyway, that's in retrospect. Going forward, I have never met a single soul in my life that is trading actively on Coinbase as a retail user, which is super funny because their retail volumes are just retail on Coinbase loves to hold, basically.
Yeah,
Retail on Robinhood loves to trade. That's the difference. I personally use Robinhood a lot more. I mean, naturally, equities is what they offer. They do a good job at that. But even for crypto, I would prefer using Robinhood over CB from a spreads perspective,
yeah,
much more competitive. And then Robinhood is aggressively expanding into um, as you can see in the headlines nowadays, securitization on chain. So trading securities in places like Europe because they're using Arbitrum or Solana underneath. They also have launched prediction markets, which is, as we know, a massive market, um, and that's only growing. So Robinhood is more like if you believe that retail is the future of trading, which we need to believe, otherwise we're all screwed, better bet. But Coinbase is a more hedged bet because they do institutional staking, they have base, they have the core platform, they have international where they can offer perps. So they're expanding more aggressively. But as a user and as a builder who's building an exchange, I respect Robinhood in terms of the just sheer tech and quality of tech that they push.
Yeah, it will be very interesting to see Robinhood coming out with that L2, whether they pick Ethereum or whether they pick Solana. Yeah, it will be interesting to see. When it comes to like valuing these companies, do you, especially something like these kind of pseudo crypto companies, anyway, with the likes of Robinhood and Coinbase, do you look at things like PE ratios? You know, Hood trading at a much higher multiple than that of Coinbase, which I believe is around a 20 PE ratio, and Robinhood being like 35 or something like that. Is that something that you think about, or is it more kind of on the actual experience and what they're actually shipping and what you're reading in the news nowadays that you're looking at more?
Yeah, when I, at least for me, when I take a bet on like Coinbase or Robinhood, it should be long term ideally, but for me, it's been mostly like a 6 month or 3 month bet with a view on like will trading volumes increase or not.
Yeah,
So like it's always like a repricing of like, hey, actually Hood is so cheap now, but we think Hood will be the future of trading, and then retail just jumps in and buys a bunch of Robinhood. So for me, it's almost always like I don't look at PE ratios when it comes to exchanges. I
yeah.
look at forward expectations of volumes relative to what the market expects. And so Robinhood, the reason why it's gone from $30 like at the lows in April, which is again uh clown face, clown emoji, which is when I sold it, it bouncing all the way to like 50 plus, is because they've made a new of announcements along with an increase in trading volume. So it trades a lot on height, a lot on
Oh my
forward-looking
goodness.
height.
Y-
Yeah. Sahej sold here. Yeah. Thanks for calling me out there. Thank you. But
no, no,
yeah.
I'm just messing. I'm just messing.
You can make the font 10 times bigger so the
Yeah.
audience can see it. Yeah.
Uh, no, no, no. I
Yeah.
really I like the thesis though. I like the thesis, and I think for the audience here, there's like almost 500 people that are in the stream right now who are listening. I think you really really bring up some interesting insights here about how you can value kind of trading terminals or trading hubs. Not only Coinbase, Robinhood, but Mo as well. One that you're also a big fan of as well, which is Hyperliquid.
Yeah.
So yeah, very very interesting. Um, Mo, have you been trading like these kind of cryptos like equities as well, or has it been more Hyperliquid, which is what we kind of talked about in the last episode as well?
Yeah, it's been like mainly hyper liquid. I haven't been touching any like crypto equities.
And a hype similarly has been performing really, really well. Again, from the bottom, it was what, like $9 back in the middle or earlier April, where we had the jelly jelly situation and whatnot as well. Since then, yeah, man, unbelievable, 170% in a month. This has been a crazy, crazy time because your choice of asset is so important. If you picked hype, you would be loving life right now. But had you picked, some other kind of altcoin, very, very, very different kind of return on investment there. Um, yeah, any thoughts that you have on that one to both of you as well?
Uh, like yeah, like the choice of the asset is definitely important because like you can choose some actually like fundamentally good project like Hyperliquid that produces like probably 3 million in fees every day, every single day. So that's like you look at that and then you compare it to like any other useless project, for instance, Celestia right now or Dimension. Like
We can pull that up as well. Yeah, I mean, hardly anywhere near that level of performance. I mean, this is the kind of we saw Hyperliquid doing from around mid-April, early April. Yeah, I mean, Tia's moved up 15%.
yeah,
Hyperliquid moving up 10x that amount, 150 plus percent.
yeah. Hype went from like $9 to 25 in
Yeah,
the span of 1 month.
yeah, yeah, and I guess my question now is really is it purely fundamentals, or is this like a narrative as well, and will this narrative die off and maybe CT will find something else that they like instead outside of
Yeah,
Hyperliquid?
of course, like narratives also play a big role, because like now probably the narrative is like hyperliquid versus all the other centralized exchanges, like Hype becoming the exchange for the people and all that stuff.
How do you see it as well, Sahaj, especially as yourself being a builder of another derivative protocol?
Yeah, yeah, no, look, I think before Hyperliquid, there was a lot of fragmentation in on-chain perpetuals.
Yeah.
And the real reason for that is that no one architecture really made sense. And so their fragmentation was well deserved. And after Hyperliquid, the fragmentation is just slowly reducing, right? Naturally. Um, of course, as a builder, I am still focusing on the ecosystem benefits of building on an ecosystem. So I think base will be 5x bigger in the future than it is right now. And hence Avantis will grow with base and be bigger as well and integrated with the composable Legos on that ecosystem. But the difference with Hyperliquid is it itself is an ecosystem with
Yeah.
perps as the core primitive. That makes it very, very interesting. And so, no, a lot of respect to Jeff and the team. Amazing product, amazing community. And if anything, we can learn from them and kind of innovate, which is what we've been trying to do.
No, good, good, good. I think Hyperliquid, yeah, is showing their dominance right now. They've built an amazing platform that people like to use. We're seeing, the emergence of other kind of derivative protocols with you, like yourselves with Avantis, but also with the likes of Ostium, with the real world asset derivatives, Lighter as well, which has been absolutely going insane with the volumes that they've been pushing out, and some of the newer kinds of derivatives as well, like ourselves with IVX and zero day options, but also like the Paradex with the perpetual options as well. I think the derivative space as a whole is really, really ramping up, more so in the last 6 months per se. And I'm really, really excited to see like where we end up, especially because we're seeing a lot of limelight with these different protocols nowadays. Where we're going to end up in 6 months. Yeah, I can only say good things because I think it's great to see all of this innovation in the sector that we love so much. Mo, you're someone who's been using Lighter a little bit as well recently. How's your experience with that been?
I think Lighter are building like a very good app. I've used it multiple times. I've been testing it for like since late February, like only a month after it's been out. Uh, it's fast, like fast execution. You get filled immediately, like not much slippage. Uh, Tons of good assets. Like they have, I think, around 30 coins to trade. There's like 70 million in TVL. Considering that it's still private beta and has 70 million, that's quite impressive. Uh, the mobile experience is good. It's like because usually when you trade something, especially on chain, like trading on chain, it's a bit tricky if you're using mobile because like most of the time you're on the go, you're not home, and you want to like execute something quite quick. And not many apps have a good mobile experience, but like yeah, Lighter does have one. I think it's good. I think it's good.
Awesome, awesome. And Sehaj, maybe you could share us and tell us a little bit about Avantis, some of the features that you've been cooking recently. I know you've been messaging me about the no fee pups, and maybe some of the guys here are new to that concept. And yeah, maybe you could walk us through some of those features as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, Mo, you were mentioning that you've been trading on high leverage a little bit here and there. Can you tell me like how high exactly?
Uh, Waj, would you like to tell him I trade yesterday?
Well, I think it was 100x, no?
Yeah, 100x on ETH.
Degen, very degen. Got it. No, I think you'll appreciate this conversation then. Watch,
Yeah,
can I share my screen? Maybe I can show you guys some of the
Sure.
stuff.
Go for it.
Um, I think you were already on it, but just so I can do it quicker. Um, but let me know when you guys can see this.
Yeah, we can see it.
Sick. So what we've shipped basically is this thing called zero fee perpetuals. And the high level idea is that on any perp dex, whether that's Hyperliquid, Lighter, Drift, GMX, you'll always pay a taker fee. You'll pay on opening and closing for market orders. You'll always pay a borrow fee or a holding cost, like a funding rate or something of that sort, especially as a long bias taker. Um, And then you'll obviously have spreads, right? Spreads are a part of doing business. What we've done is if you don't want to pay anything until you win, you can use Avantis. And so if you think about $1 million Bitcoin trade, $1 million notional size in Bitcoin long, on Avantis, you can use zero fee perps with a minimum leverage of 25x, which is fairly reasonable for a lot of high leverage traders, and a maximum of 250x, which is obviously very degenerate. Someone like Mo might be more into that. Um, and then the benefit of this is you'll basically open up a massive trade. So let me kind of show you guys a $2 million trade size. And oh, this is fixed fee. Zero fee gets you up to 250x. So you'll pay only a spread of 1 BIP each way. You'll save out on any borrow fees that you pay for the duration of that trade. So you can leave the trade open for even days technically and not pay anything. And you'd save on, like, in this case, anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 of fixed fees. So what's the catch? You share profits with us. And what does that look like? You basically pay a profit sharing fee, which we call a win fee. So we're pretty excited, man, because you see all this blue, that's all the win fees coming in from zero fee perpetuals. And we're slowly and steadily ramping it up along with our volumes. So we're doing about like 50 mil, 100 mil a day. A big part of that is ZFP because people are just like, they want to take a free swing at the markets and not worry about eroding their capital in the process if they were not wrong on the market. So it's a net new trader aligned derivative meant for loss averse and high leverage traders who only want to pay when they win. Right now, it's active on Bitcoin, Solana, and Ethereum, but we plan to roll this out to all of our assets. So all 70 assets that we offer will have both fixed fee perps and then zero fee perps. That's the high level, man.
No, very, very cool. I think the concept is pretty clever, very clever, actually. You get the chance to, like you said, take a bet without having to pay, and yeah, if you win, you win anyway. Sure, part of that you can share with Avantis, but at least you're not losing anything. There's something about the psychology of losing where, it's much worse to lose money than it is to win money, even though you have the same odds or something like that. And I think this kind
Yeah,
of
it's called loss aversion.
yeah,
The principle is that losses feel twice as bad as profits feel good, and that's what
right.
we've kind of designed the whole perp on. Yeah.
Very cool, very, very cool. And it's
Yeah,
great to see that you're getting a lot of traction now as well. Sorry, Mo, I interrupted you there.
yeah. I just said like, yeah, I like the idea. I think it's cool.
And are you expanding into other markets as well, like commodities or indices or equities as well?
Yeah, equities. Our competitors are definitely doing that, which is very, very bold of them. Congratulations to them for
Yeah.
sure. We won't be doing equities anytime soon.
But
This
why is it
seems like,
bold? Out of interest, why is it bold?
why is it bold to offer securities on chain without a license? The SEC can answer that question better than me, but I'll leave it there.
Fine, fine, fine. Is it possible to offer these instruments to people outside of the US?
Yeah. So the thing is, it's really a spectrum, right? If you think about DeFi, the no KYC, we're operating a bit in the gray. Uh, all of us as builders and users are always thinking about, oh, are we complying? Are we not complying? Regulations are far behind. Does anyone care that you're offering securities to non-US users? Probably not, in all honesty, right?
Mm.
But I do think that at least for us, we'll stick to commodities, things that are clearly commodities. Bitcoin's a commodity, commodities are commodities. FX is widely available internationally, and we're able to offer that as well. There's a lot more room to grow in these asset classes alone, with stuff like zero fee perps, with stuff like scaling our liquidity vaults, with stuff like actually onboarding traders who don't have access to forex in their own countries. People who trade on Avantis often say, "Oh, I can't even buy gold in like Africa or like Turkey or wherever." Um, so short answer, do people care? No. Do regulators care? Probably not. Will we offer them immediately? No. Is it on the roadmap? Yes.
Okay, cool. So there is the potential for it in future. I'm waiting for the Robinhood, 10x leverage and the Coinbase 10x leverage. I want to do like the funding
Yeah.
rate stuff with those assets as well. So
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
look,
Oh yeah.
I think it would be cool. I think it would be really, really cool. And yeah, I think like it makes sense. But either way, there's still 70 plus assets that you guys have to offer, so there's still a wide variety.
Yeah, I think the fundamental thing that we are more focused on right now, before even opening up like equities or all that stuff, is how do we increase liquidity 2, 3, 5x on the current assets? Because AMMs are inherently inefficient compared to
Correct.
order books. They are
Yeah.
much better for bootstrapping. AMMs are, and you know this, Raj, like they're much better for bootstrapping. You can launch new assets quickly, you can innovate quickly. But now Avantis V2 is what we're focusing on, right? Which is like, how do we fundamentally change that narrative that AMMs are inefficient? How do we make them efficient on a scale of 5 to 10x, right? And so after we kind of launch the Avantis token, which we have plans for, the whole focus for me and my team is V2. What do we do next? How do we fundamentally step the game up in the AMM's perp space? And then we'll think about okay, equities and stuff because these things require a lot of liquidity, right? Forex, you can trade like $1 million size. You won't even get to know where the leverage went. We offer like 500x. So there's days when traders are complaining you don't have enough liquidity on the platform to take my trade. Um, Genuine big traders who are like in other countries where forex is not available to them. So I know it's a long-winded answer, but just from a priorities perspective, we are more focused on like improving the infra, and then once the infra is ready, we are going to scale it with the assets.
Totally makes sense. Totally makes sense. Okay, no, great. And yeah, I guess you hinted on some of the actions potentially that people can do to maybe get hold of that future token as well. So yeah, I think I think it would be great. Guys, if you're listening, tuning in, go and give it a trade. Like I said, there's if you're trading Bitcoin, ETH, or so, you can flick that switch of not paying any fees unless you win. So go and have some fun whilst you're at it.
Perfect. And you said it for me, Waj. Nothing else to say. Thank you.
Okay, going back to trading, Mo, like what is kind of on your radar now? Is there any specific sector? Is there any specific type of asset? What kind of thing are you looking at nowadays?
I think like most right now the most profitable way to actually make money in crypto is through perps right now because like it usually comes as cycles like Bitcoin runs and then like the perps the the exchange altcoins like run a bit and then it's like on-chain season. So I think it's now like a bit more leaning towards like the the exchange altcoins like maybe Solana, Sui, all this stuff like the high market cap altcoins like, and then it moves towards the on-chain season as we call it. Like this comes mostly during summer.
So you take a chart like SWE right now, which has had unbelievable strength. It's up multiple
Yeah.
x's from the bottom, more than what 2x from the bottom. Is this something that you think has the legs to keep running right now, or do you think maybe it's Sol that actually looks better than SWE right now? If we take a look at Sol,
No, Sui looks way better, I think. But
really?
yeah, I'm currently in Solana long.
Hmm.
I'll probably take profit around 180, 181. The day of the what was it called? Strategic reserve.
Ah, yeah. Okay, fine. I see. That's here basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine. Okay, okay. So there's still a little bit of juice to move there potentially. Um, okay, interesting. I'm not convinced actually that these are the assets that are going to be ripping still. You mentioned the exchanges, and I think that's fairly interesting because again, BNB looks like it's absolutely running as well right now, and has pretty good strength overall. But yeah, like I said, I'm not really convinced. I think we talked about hype before and hype's strength as well. I think it is getting to this area at the top of the range where I think things are going to be cooling down. I'm actually looking for the opposite trades actually. Well, I'm actually waiting to kind of potentially even short these assets as well. And I think like if I look at the inverse charts here, you're really to me anyway, when I see something like this, I'm thinking, okay, when we get to this point here, this is where I'm going to enter the market. I don't know what your thoughts are on this to both of you as well, but I feel like we've had a huge rally now. Like we said at the start, I'm not convinced that this is anything really fundamental with these specific assets. Yeah, I'm personally looking to take the opposite.
Wait, is that hyperliquid flipped upside down?
Yes.
Why'd you do that?
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, man. Didn't even know you could do that.
I flipped it. I flipped it upside down because you can clearly see where this is going to top out at.
Nah, I
That's an interesting way
probably
to
go
look at it.
something to do this.
Yeah, I like to do the inverse charts a lot because they just make you when you're just getting a bit too bullish, they just kind of bring you back down to earth, and you can clearly see, like if I just delete this, right? I mean, I can clearly see like this is going to be the big area to test here, and sure, I'm pretty sure that price can kind of hit this range, but at that point onwards, I think it's either going to break this line and continue to all time highs, which we'll be able to see very very clearly as well, and kind of go like that, or it's going to bounce off it and go back the other way. But yeah, this is one of the reasons why I like to do the inverse charts as well. And if I look at like a lot of the other charts as well, maybe we'll look at SWE too as well. When I look at the inverse on this too, yeah, we are potentially getting to that phase, eventually where again I will look at where this is going to stall out and bottom at before going the other way. So yeah, I'm really not sure. I don't have like real conviction actually that this is just going to keep going up and up and up. This is the inverse of Sol, by the way, the inverse chart of Sol. And I think when we get to 181, like you said, Mo, I think we're going to really consider like what's going to happen there. I think we're getting close to these areas of resistance on a lot of these charts now, and
I
yeah,
don't think it crosses 210. I don't think it does.
no,
Yeah, like if you look at like weekly and monthly charts of ETH and Sol, like these coins broke like high time frame structure, like both of them. Like ETH going from 4K to like 1.3K, like Sol going from $300 to $90. These aren't normal corrections. These are like corrections you see during bear markets.
So like what are you trying to say here? Like that we are not in a bear market, and so those were perfect buying opportunities, or like do you think we're in a change of structure now? Look, you can see all of this blood in the market from December, and now we're not putting in lower highs and lower lows anymore. We're actually doing the opposite, higher highs and higher lows now. Is that kind of the point you're trying to make?
No, I'm just saying that I think these like Solana and ETH probably won't make an all-time high this year or
Hmm.
early this year, maybe in Q4. Who knows? But
Okay.
yeah, I think like these can pump a little bit more and maybe then consolidate before going lower.
Okay, interesting. So, Haj, any thoughts that you have on some of these major alts, exchange alts, and layer one alts?
Yeah, no, I love the inverted chart. I've never seen this before. I'm not a big charting guy myself. This is all very fascinating. I wouldn't I would be very scared personally of like shorting anything that has a lot of strength and community. Like hype is definitely, I would be very scared, man. Waj, you're a brave guy for doing that. Um, at those levels. Sui, yeah, you can think of it. I would probably short stuff that has run up that I don't think has strength. Um, I don't have very good examples off the top of my head. But stuff where I feel like, why has this run up along with the market?
Hmm,
Maybe shorting those things versus like taking a hyperliquid or Sui where there's a lot of like, I guess, community strength behind them fundamentally. That'd be a little scarier to me. That's all I'll say.
fair enough. Are you finding traders on Avantis are trading any specific type of asset other than the usual Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, just look, eyeballing the last day, right? It's been gold, dollar yen, and then the majors.
Interesting,
So mostly
interesting.
the major FX and major crypto, and then on the altcoin side, Hyperliquid, Fartcoin, Pepe. Those have
Ah,
been the harder ones. Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, I think we should take a look at Filecoin and Pepe as well. But I thought I'd just pull up the gold chart as well, which I guess was rallying massively for months and months actually, whilst cryptos.
Insane,
Yeah, I
insane.
think
Yeah.
from December is when the crypto market topped. So basically around here, and gold just basically did the complete opposite and absolutely ripped up, 30% for something like gold over such a short period of time. Now gold is consolidating. I'm interested to see like what happens next with it. So yeah, something I probably will be following, but I'm not really sure where it is right now. It looks like it's kind of just in a
This
little
is
bit of
all
a
probably
range.
depending on recession odds, war between India and Pakistan, tariffs between
Yeah.
USA and China.
It's a difficult one to trade, I think, right now, anyway.
It
Uh,
it requires more fundamental analysis than technical.
okay, so talking about something that requires a lot of fundamental analysis, let's open up Fartcoin, which, as
Hot
of
air rises. Hot air rises. That's the fundamentals.
hot air rises, this when I last annotated this chart was up 464% from the bottom. It's now 553% from the bottom, which I
Oh
think
my
is
God.
one of the best performant alts over the last 2 months. Now at 1.3 billion. Mo, you were shilling me a Fartcoin quite a lot actually recently. We're not. I mean, is Fartcoin going to hit all-time highs before
Of
Sol?
course, of course.
Before,
I bought Fartcoin the day of the FOMC at 96 cents,
yeah,
and I closed it at break even because I thought I could buy it lower.
but it just keeps going. It just
Keeps
keeps.
Yeah,
going, man. It keeps go. My friends like highly recommended me. People I trust. Well, evidently I don't trust them enough. But they said, what meme coins are institutions buying in the US?
Yeah,
And I said, oh, which ones? He said Fartcoin. I said, you're kidding. Like, no institution will be like, oh, let's buy Fartcoin, right? That's what got me. That like, okay, degens, of course, degens love Fartcoin, you and I, whatever. But a US liquid fund with $500 million treasury is saying Fartcoin is the we have millions in Fartcoin. It's just funny. Something about that is just funny to me.
yeah.
And now it's showing. That was off the lows of like 20 cents. That's when those guys were accumulating. So crazy.
It is crazy. I honestly, I'm lost for words, really. Um, I mean, it had this huge, when it had this, I thought the Fartcoin experiment is over, minus 92%. But the crazy thing is, like in the same time period that it went down minus 92%, this is 53 days, right? Maybe a little bit longer. We're now 63 days, extra. No, we're yeah, 59 days, an extra 7 days or so. We're up 567%. It's just absurd, like really, really absurd. Like the kind of volatility on something like this, uh, in such a short time period as well. Uh, you also mentioned Pepe as well, which whoops, this is the wrong one. Pepe as well, which was interesting because I saw it was one of the highest performers yesterday and today. You can see this huge, huge candle,
it's because of
61.
Crazy. ETH
it
beta.
being like the eighth beta, right?
Has Pepe been the strongest ETH beta play of all of the other assets as well?
Probably Mog. Mog was good.
Really? I didn't see Mog. Let's have a look if I can pull it up. It's on Coinbase. That's quite funny. I mean, also very, very strong from that April bottom. 287%. That's impressive. Very, very impressive. Uh,
4x.
yeah. I mean, I thought these coins had died, but they just clearly haven't. They always find a way to come back, don't they? Are there any other coins that you guys have been trading or on your radar as well? Maybe to you guys who are listening in the audience as well. Anything else that you guys have been looking at? Any specific charts that you want us to pull up? We can definitely do so now before we wrap things up. One thing that we can look at as well is the bearer chart, which again seems to have gone back into this range, and kind of interested to see if we go to the top of this range or not. We'll see. We'll see what comes out from with bearer as well in due time. Yeah. I think otherwise, I think that's kind of the state of the market. I guess we kind of covered a lot. Mo and Saj, anything else that you want to cover today?
Hey, Waj, I don't
That's
know if you trade. Sorry, Mo, go ahead.
no. I'm just saying that's all on my end. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was just asking, Waj, do you, speaking of equities, real quick, do you follow like MicroStrategy like companies that are now expanding to Solana or Ethereum, etc.? So, like one of these companies is called DeFi Development Co. And they basically run the MicroStrategy playbook, but for Solana specifically. It's called DFDV is the ticker. And I wonder if you have like a view on like these leverage Solana type equities, following the
Wow, this is
MicroStrategy playbook.
crazy. No, I have not heard of this before, actually. I don't follow this. Um, looks like this is something fairly new, maybe, right?
Very, very new. Uh, Very new. Yeah, you can read this article on similar companies that have started called Soul Strategies, the MicroStrategy of Solana, stuff like that. Similar equities exist,
Interesting.
so you can take a
Oh,
look
to be
at
honest with
it.
you, the kind of equities that I like are your Magnificent Seven. Your kind of your big blue chip assets, and I think like, one of the reasons why I like them is they just kind of give me a little bit of a break or hedge from crypto. And also I don't necessarily have to follow them every single day. One of the coolest things I could do DeFi was back in 2020 or 2021, which was with this protocol on Terra Luna called Mirror Protocol, where you could basically take these tokenized assets and you could LP
Yeah, so
them, and
good.
yeah, there was something about like having the ability to do DeFi specific yield bearing actions on these blue chip assets, which usually don't have the same volatility as crypto assets, but do have good upside as well. And I'm really really excited for when we can kind of get that opportunity again with like these tokenized equities again on chain and doing cool things, getting a Bitcoin loan against them, or using some sort of way to get leverage exposure, shorting them, or maybe selling options against them, or something like that. But doing it on chain, there's something about it that just to me is a little bit magical. And yeah, I'm just waiting for that kind of opportunity to come again. Those were some good times, I think. So yeah, when it comes to equities, that's the kind of thing I like to do. I would love to do like funding rate stuff on some of these equities as well. But yeah, again, you can see from my watch list, it's pretty boring with these kind of companies. Your Apples, your Googles, Microsoft, Meta, Nvidias, and yeah, that kind of
I
stuff.
have a question for you guys. What do
Yeah.
you think happens to the AI coins that like made these crazy rallies back in November, December, January?
You mean the likes of AI16Z, etc., right?
Yeah, AI
I mean,
16Z, AI XBT,
look at
Griffin.
these guys are having some pretty strong V-shaped recoveries, and I don't necessarily know what's caused them. This has done a couple of X's from the bottom. AI XBT was like one of the big ones on base.
Yeah, it's up like 3x from the
Yeah,
bottom.
yeah. So I'm not too sure if this is just kind of a bounce that this is going to be the exit bounce. Is it going to look something like this and bleed out over time, or is this like truly a resurgence and we're going to get a proper fart coin like recovery? I'm not convinced that it will be like that, and if I had to bet, I think it would be something like I've drawn on screen.
Hey, Waj, isn't there a comprehensive report by one of the major funds? I don't know if it's Franklin Templeton or is it which one is it? The one that publishes like their own like AI DeFi
Is it
topics, right?
Mazari?
No, 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 like an actual fund, like
Oh,
a proper fund. Anyway, I'll circle back on this to you on DMs, but they pick winners of every like vertical. For example, they were picking like in DeFi, they were picking Aerodrome. I think it's Franklin Templeton, by the way.
yeah.
In AI, they were picking like you know AI16Z, etc. So I think the good thing about, if, for me personally, the good thing about buying into AI XBT or any of these agents that are actually doing well is they're always on your feed. Always. I see them all the time commenting, surfacing alpha. The mind share is real. And so all that matters is mind share and like, essentially. how much do you come up in someone's feed for you to be attentive enough to buy them. So at these prices, I actually feel like it's not a uninteresting hold. Stuff like AI XPT.
Fair enough. No, I hear that. Um, Maybe my risk tolerance isn't the same as what it was before. Like 6 months ago, I was enjoying the ride up for something like AIXPT all the way to 90 cents. And, after seeing it, really implode down in a short period of time, 3 months minus 93%. I did kind of lose hope on some of these things, but this is crypto when things can go up just as fast as they go down and do that multiple times again. So
Absolutely.
maybe it's just my bias right now. Maybe I need to think about it a little bit more deeply.
It's because you don't hold them anymore. Like
Yeah, it's probably that.
everybody,
Well,
everybody's
that too.
views are correlated to their bags.
That's very
That
true.
that's very true. That's very true.
Yeah, that's very
Also,
true.
more we have to recognize that, in this conversation, Waj is a whale, man. He needs to preserve his wealth. We're just minnows. We're trying to grow into what Waj has already become. So
Waj probably holds 1% of the entire AI sector.
exactly, dude, he
Maybe,
just does funding rate R1 hyperliquid. He holds 1% of all AI tokens and then shorts them.
Yeah,
maybe in a parallel universe that was true, but I can't say that that's the same anymore. That's why I'm preserving my capital. I've been wrecked too hard from life. So yeah. I think one last thing, I'm a bit wary of the time. We're getting close to the hour, so I think we should kind of wrap things up. One last thing that I really wanted to talk about was kind of how amazing zero-day options have been over the last couple of days. Really giving you guys an opportunity to take that leverage bet. Whether it's 60x or whether it's 239x on Bitcoin right now, and maybe something similar, 80x on Barra. I've been really enjoying zero-day options. I was trading them yesterday as well on our platform, and you can do this as well right now if you go to IVX. It's been really, really fun. Mo, I don't know how it's been for you, but I've seen some huge, huge, huge trades from some people who have been able to make multiple X's in a matter of minutes or
yeah.
hours.
ETH calls have been printing yesterday.
Yeah, ETH calls were crazy, crazy. And yeah, it's been really, 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 really interesting to see some of the different strategies that people are doing, and really seeing like some of the crazy stuff that we've had. We had our record day in volume as well, doing 10 mil in volume, which I think was fantastic for us.
Amazing.
We're still a small protocol, but we're building our way up, and I think that was very, very refreshing to see all of that volume that we were able to get with these option instruments yesterday and the day before. So yeah, I think for you guys who are tuning in right now, it's a very different instrument to a perp. You get the really, really high leverage. You don't have the liquidation effect, so you can ride your positions up and down as the market changes. But of course, you do have that time to expiry, as you can see on screen. So yeah, maybe give it a go. Again, you don't need much capital to play around with this. $20 is more than enough, and you can kind of play around, have a feel, and yeah, maybe it's going to be your lucky day with your next trade.
Sick.
Right, guys. I think with that, let's wrap things up. Sahaj, it's been a pleasure to have you on again. I really enjoyed this episode. Actually, we went into so many different elements and categories, talking about TradFi, equities, commodities, Avantis, of course, talking about all these different charts as well. So yeah, I want to say thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure. Definitely we'll have you on again sometime in the future. And then for those of you listening, the 700 people listening right now, which has been amazing. Go to Avantis, try out some of your trades there. No fee perps, I think is fantastic. For those of you who haven't tried out options before, go to IVX and give it a go. Make sure you're following all of us as well. Join our Discords, follow us on Twitter. That's Avantis and IVX. And we will be back again with another episode next week. So yeah, thank you, Sahaj. Thank you, Mo, as always. We'll see you again next time.